Good to see you. As reading today's Bible bus, Ecclesiastes chapter 4, it reminded me of whenever I'm in SoCal, it's amazing how I see all these amazing homes near the beach. Millions upon millions of dollar homes. And then not only do they have $1 million home, but then they have the expensive fancy cars. And then everywhere I look when I'm near the beach, it's just one fancy car after another. And I remember being at one restaurant that I was just kind of driving through the parking lot to go to a coffee shop, and there was a fancy restaurant there, and only in the parking lot were Porsches, Ferraris, Lamborghinis, Jaguars, Corvettes, all these fancy cars. And I just couldn't believe it. And I think, how is there so much money down here? How is it possible for people to have so much? Well, as we're talking about Ecclesiastes and Solomon being the writer, and we know that Solomon was just filthy rich, and he pursued riches, and he pursued the things of the world. And then he came to the end of it and just realized how all these things were meaningless. And so he's continuing to write about these things of riches that he pursued. And he tells us, and I'm reading from the New Living Translation, he said this in verse 4, "Then I observed that most people are motivated to success because they envy their neighbors. This too is meaningless, like chasing the wind." Verse 4 does apply to people who are in pursuit of really nice things. And he says that most people are motivated to success because of they envy their neighbors. So people are just looking at what other people have. They're looking at their neighbors and looking at their nice car and their nice house, or their nice motorcycle, or their nice toys that they have in their garage. And they're saying, I want that. And so now I want success so I can have what they have. But then Solomon writes about that, and he looks at what he says next concerning that. This too is meaningless, like chasing the wind. You ever tried chasing the wind? Good luck. You can't be caught. It's wind. It goes right through your fingertips. You can't catch it. And that's what Solomon is writing about and telling us, that as we try to chase what our neighbors have and all the things they have and we want it, it's like chasing the wind. You won't be satisfied. You won't be fulfilled. It won't meet the expectation, the hope, the desires that we have. It's chasing wind. And then he goes on to give us another example, and starting in verse 7. "I observed yet another example of something meaningless under the sun. This is the case of man who is all alone, without a child or brother, yet who works hard to gain as much wealth as he can. But then he asks himself, who am I working for? Why am I giving up so much pleasure now? It is all so meaningless and depressing." So Solomon goes on to write about the example of someone working so hard to getting all these things, but then they can't enjoy it. What good is it to work so hard to get that thing that you want and then not enjoy it because you got to keep working to get more? How sad to be working for something to purchase that one thing that you would enjoy, that one thing that you've liked, that one thing you've been wanting. To get it, set it on the shelf and say, man, I got to go back to work and get more. Well, maybe that doesn't necessarily apply to you as a junior hire, but that's what Solomon is talking about, that we can be as people, that we can work so hard to get something and then not enjoy that something that we've worked so hard for because we're now after searching for more things. What good is that? Well, Solomon says it's meaningless and depressing. As we get into verse 9 and 10, he talks about friendship. And friendships are so big, so crucial. Because in this life, we have ups and we have downs. We have wins and we have loses. We have good days and bad days. And on those bad days, when we stumble and fall, when it's a bad day that we're just sad and tired, we need someone there to pick us up. We need someone there to come alongside of us. It's pretty remarkable, even in the perfect world, before sin entered the world, God said it was not good for man to be alone. That before anything was messed up as we know it, before we had bad thoughts, before we had bad intentions, before we sinned, before we ever did evil, there was Adam in the garden. Life is perfect as we know it. He is communing with God. Adam's there with the animals, and yet God says it's not good for man to be alone. For there to be this partnership between one person and another. The truth is we need people, and people need us. He says 2 people are better off than one, for they can help each other succeed. If one person falls, then the other can reach out and help him. But someone who falls alone is in real trouble. Man, I don't know how many times I've gotten hurt as a kid. And whenever I got hurt, maybe when I wrecked my bike or crashed on my skateboard, I had a friend there to help me pick me up. That was huge. That was so helpful in those times where I'm really hurting. And not only did I need it when I crashed on my bike, I need it today. The relationships we have are so big. They're so meaningful. Think about, what kind of friendships do you have? What kind of friendships are you building? What kind of friendships do you want? What kind of friendships are you in pursuit of? Because however you answer those questions is really what you should be looking for in a friend. And it's those same kind of qualities that you should be as a person and being a friend to another. All right, that was a quick video, just a quick word. It was really good getting to Zoom with some of you today as we asked a hard question, and that is why does God allow bad things to happen? And as Delia and I walked through it, I hope that was really encouraging to you. If you missed it, I would like to invite you to tune in next week as we tackle other questions, and we'll be working on what those questions are going to be. And then this Sunday, I want to invite you, we're going to Zoom on this Sunday at 2 o'clock. The invitation will get sent out, but we'd just love to see you on Sunday, just to say hi, just to spend some time together. So I look forward to seeing you on Sunday. And now I'm going to post some questions from these 2 chapters we're reading today. And then, what is that? Comment below what it is. See ya.
Ew, what is that?